Hello and welcome to This Week in Property. I am your host Richard Swan, and in today's show we have royalty. We have the king of Tyneside, that's what I love to call him. So full disclosure first, I already know today's guest, and that's through Paul McFadden's Property Protege training. I've known him through that, he's done incredible things. He's went on further, he's in Paul's special platinum programme as well, but more than that, he's just smashing it, as they say in the business world. He's done so much that he's one of those influential stories that we need to share with people, because you'll be listening, you'll be watching, maybe you're not involved in property at all, you're stuck in that cubicle, you're looking for your way out, maybe looking to do property just on the side, full time, who knows, because you want to change your life, you want to change how your work-life balance is, you want to change your focus on things. This man can show you an example of that in spades, that's for sure, and it's none other than my good friend James Doran. James, hello sir, we're here.
Yeah, finally.
We're here.
Yeah.
I have seen you a few times in this office, that's for sure, but we're finally here in the special This Week in Property studio, which is brilliant.
Absolutely.
Because you're, totally, the cards on the table, you're just one of those names that I've used consistently when I'm trying to give people a role model or give people a wee example of what's possible, It's not guaranteed.
No.
It's not guaranteed. There has to be work, there has to be a focus, there has to be a commitment, and my God, there has to be a hanging on the roller coaster, as we call it, and I'm sure I'll get that from you.
Yeah,
but it can be done, which is great. But before we chat about you, what you're up to just now, how you're helping so many people, how your business is running, so on and so forth, how much your life has changed, which is fantastic, but what was James before? What was James before property? What's the story? What's the career path?
Yeah, so prior to getting involved in property full time, I was working offshore.
Yes.
Yeah, so I had about 15 years offshore.
Is that how long it was? My God, I knew it was a while.
About 15 years offshore, around about the North Sea.
How did you even start that?
Well, when I left school, straight into a trade.
Right.
So pretty much left school at 16. I served my time as a sheet metal worker.
I see.
So I was in some of the workshops around about Newcastle. And HVAC industry, so pretty hands-on there.
Is that a whole dad, granddad, uncle thing?
No.
Trades, apprenticeships? No, nothing like that?
Just myself. So I went into that. From there, pretty much progressed on to the shipyards.
Right.
I went to work in Holland for 4 years.
Ah, did you?
Yeah,
no way.
I was in the shipyards in Holland, around about Rotterdam, Amsterdam,
A few stories we won't go into.
Yeah, I'm not that was a past life, so I'm you'll have to wait for the book for that one, like, so
So you done that, and then the whole kind of rigs and offshore and everything, did that just come about through the ships?
Yeah,
and just an opportunity?
Pretty much a natural progression, like, it's heavy industry, and it was always, the belief was always instilled into you when you get into that sort of industry. All the good money to be made is working away from home.
Right.
So that's where that started, so not earning too much at home.
Right.
You go and work away, you work offshore, that's where the money is,
That's the game changer. So it is true, the kind of story about the differences in the money,
yeah,
it is there.
Absolutely.
It's not everything, but it is there for someone.
So that was pretty much the driver to sort of get into that industry, so 15 years offshore,
Sounds tough to me. Sounds like something I would struggle with, just a personal thing. Everybody's different, of course. How did you see that? I know you made that decision at that stage, an end stage, a later stage to change tactic. Totally understand that. But, early days, was it fun? For a long time, was it good? Was there a balance?
Yeah, when I first got into it, brand new, I loved it. Your wages just went from there to there, so that was great. That made a big difference, but I was enjoying it. It was good crack with the guys, good team around you, so I made some good friends out there offshore.
Right.
I got into the rope access side of it, so I was enjoying that. Probably the one part of the job I really enjoyed, so.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Why?
Just climbing about the oil rigs, it's like a big climbing frame,
Adrenaline.
Overhead, I loved all that, so that was but after a while it just got, I've been out there too long, and it had a big impact on my personal life, and
What was the biggest parts? Because I know you've got young kids and stuff, and that's come up a lot when you share your story. Is that the thing? Is it more of the...
Yeah, Being away from the kids, 2 weeks on, or the family as a whole, you know.
Yeah,
2 weeks on, sometimes 3 weeks on away, you know. And I mean, it was great when you were back, you know, but it was always in the back of your mind, got to go away again,
coming.
You know. So,
the clock's ticking.
Yeah, so it was just out there being away from them, and you know, it was always hard leaving them. You know, always tears and that, you know. And but you are doing it for them. You know, so there was that sacrifice, and I know a lot of the guys offshore relate to that, you know.
They've got that.
You're doing it for your family, like, you know, so that's the sacrifice.
Is there a belief with them, and maybe you had it as well, I'm doing this sacrifice thing that you just mentioned, and it's for a certain time period. I'm going to crack at this, I'm going to do it, whatever it is, everybody might be different. I'm doing it for 5 years, I'm doing it for 15 years, and I'm just going to crack the money in the bank, get it all together, and then I'll stop it. Is there that? Do they see an end in sight? Is there a plan?
I guess some people do. I never had that.
No.
I was just out there, just trip to trip to trip. I never really had a vision for the future.
Right.
You know, goals and goal setting. It wasn't on my radar. I'd never learned it. Didn't know nothing about it. You know, so it was just like, as far as I knew, that's where I'm going.
I'm just getting on with it.
I had no plan, you know.
Yeah.
You know, other than,
just going from the apprenticeship thing, the sheet metal to the ships to the Rotterdam to whatever.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Right, okay. God, you really are a different character now. Because the guy that I know now, oh my God, focus, mindset, goals, you know, ticking boxes.
There was none of that.
That's a different world for you.
None of that.
Wow, okay. Was it then a gradual thing that kind of pain and discomfort of the family and being apart and stuff, did it just kind of gradually gnaw away at you, or was there a light bulb moment? You know, you were maybe offshore one day and then something happened. What was it? Yeah,
I would say it did gnaw away at us for a long time. You know, it was having an effect on my mental health. You know, I wasn't happy in myself. I didn't know what it was.
Right.
To be honest with you, I couldn't quite put my finger on it, but yeah, just for a good few years, towards the end of it, it was just like, I think I need a shift here, you know. But
you could just feel it.
It was something, I didn't know what it was, but and then it had a big impact on my personal life, and that was the game changer, you know.
Yeah. Once you get to that point, I suppose everybody's different. Some folks could think, I'm just going to emigrate somewhere else, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that. Why the property side of things? Why did that pop up for you?
I'd always had an interest in it.
Did you?
Yeah. I was an accidental landlord, to be honest with you, from about 2007, 2008.
Right.
I just managed to keep my first flat that I ever bought. You know, I rented that out. It was back when you get a 100% mortgage.
Oh, those days.
So we got our first house, and I rented the flat out, and then the house that we had, our third house, I went away to work in Australia. I made the money there to go and buy that house, and I just managed to rent that one out as well. So I had those couple of properties under my belt, you know, just not knowing what to do with them, just thinking that's my pension, you know, that's towards the pension, you know. But
so you've seen that awareness of how property can work and how a cash flow can come in and so on and so forth. Interesting.
But still no real knowledge of property at this time.
Just totally accidental stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. In Australia as well, you're some jet setter.
Yeah, I mean, I love travelling, you know, and it was just a big part of the job, you know, whether it's the shipyards in Rotterdam, Amsterdam, you know, across in Germany, you know, in Australia. That's probably the first I went with it, but that was good money out there. So
was it?
That was the draw, you know. That
was
the draw out
it's
there,
that money thing again.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Just looking for better, trying to get better, you know, and just
and thinking that the money part's the answer as well.
Yeah.
I see this a lot. I see that thread. It's not, isn't it? No. But it's almost as if we've got to learn it ourselves, isn't it? Yeah. That's funny. That's fascinating, because it's a totally different world. You know, kind of corporate background, offices, always in the UK, but same thing. You know, chasing the titles, chasing the bigger salary, chasing the promotion, thinking, that's all it needs. It's just that. If I get that, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
But then, those kind of business trips down to London and fancy lounges, suddenly the novelty wears off. You know, and your daughter that's back at home that can only hear you over a phone call, and it's like all of a sudden the value of the money isn't quite the same, is it?
Yeah. Absolutely. So that was a big one, you know, and when you've got your little girls crying at you, you know, come home and that, you know, and it's just, but you can't see past it, you can't see a way out. You're sort of in there at that level of income, and, you know, you're your expenses have gone up. You know, you've got a nicer house, your car. You know, and you've got to maintain that lifestyle. You know, but if you can't see a way past it, and you can't see, you're thinking that's the limit where I'm at. This income. You know, then you start feeling a bit trapped, and that's how I felt, anyways. You know. Yeah.
So it really is that story of the gilded cage. Then you had built this gilded, you know, expensive cage, but it was still a cage.
Yeah,
that's fascinating. That's crazy.
I just couldn't see a way out. That's all.
Yeah, exactly, because it's just a wheel that's just constantly turning, isn't it?
Yeah.
Once you've got it to that level and that speed, you know, you're I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Yeah, but look at how you're feeling, how you're thinking, and your girls are crying and stuff. I think a lot of folk can relate to that. That's really powerful. So, taking that change, taking that leap, thinking, you know, property, this might be the way out. What was the initial thoughts? Did you think, I'm not sure, I'll experiment and try a couple of things, I'll try and build it up on the side? How was your psychology at that point?
It didn't happen like that at all. I tell you how it happened. At the back of it, my marriage collapsed.
Right.
Yeah, on the back of offshore, you know, just took its toll.
You think it's really that?
And when that happened, you know, I knew life was changing for good. And that's pretty much when I made the decision, I need to get out of this game and start making a change, like, you know. So yeah, it was. I mean, it was funny how it happened. I mean, the day after, when I found out that was it was all over. There was a book landed on the doorstep, and I'd ordered this book a week previous. Whilst offshore, having a conversation with a guy out there, and he told me to change his friend's life, and you know, and all this. And I thought, all right, I'll give it a shot. And that book was The Secret. Right now, I'd never read anything like that before. Yeah. So I've read this book, and it just got us thinking. You know, like, I knew things were changing. I asked myself a question like I've never asked before in my life. Like, what do you actually want with your life? You know, what do you want to do with it? You know, and the first thing that popped in there was property. You know, it just popped in there, and I thought, yeah, I'm going to get involved in property somehow, you know. So yeah, it just sort of went from there. So from that initial thought, I mean, I didn't know property education existed. I didn't know how I was going to do it. Yeah. And then things just started showing up. So
it's like a blurry thing on the side. You don't quite know how it's going to materialise.
Pretty much. And then I think it was a month later. I was coming out of Aberdeen Airport after another trip offshore, and there was a big billboard there, like a digital billboard, and it just caught my eye. Property investment, learn from the best, change your life, something along those lines, you know. And I thought, hang on, you can go out and learn this stuff, you know. So that's when I realised, you know, you can actually do courses and you can learn how to do it. And
well, exactly, just like you've done the skill with the sheet metal, you know, and then you've learned more stuff in the ships. And so
that was a bit of an eye opener. So I sort of went along to there was a free seminar down in Nottingham for this particular training company. It wasn't really for me. Right. It wasn't resonating with us, but it was a start. And then someone started popping up my LinkedIn. Now I always thought LinkedIn was just a CV, you know, I never really used it, but this guy started popping up on my LinkedIn, big bald Scottish guy with a beard, you know, talking about hardcore entrepreneurs and stuff, you know, and I quite like the sound of what he was talking about. So yeah, so I'm following along on LinkedIn. It turns out he's got a business partner who's into property. Right. Of course, it's Paul McFadden.
It's Paul, yeah.
Yeah, so that was the back end of 2017. Yeah, and I just got on it from there, you know. I was listening to the podcast right over the December, right into January, and pretty much caught up with all that. And yeah, I pretty much booked my spot on Property Protege in the February, I think it was. Yeah.
Was it February? Right,
yeah,
right, okay.
Yeah, February 2018. Yeah.
You know, there's a few dots there I'd love to connect, and it's about that you don't quite know how you're going to do it, but you look for the first thing, and then something else pops up, and then something else. I love that. That's something people should really learn and think about. I don't know the answer, I'm giving up. No, just where roughly do you think you feel you want to go, and then start to look into it, because as you said yourself, oh wait a minute, you can actually learn this stuff. You don't have to be like a millionaire to begin with and buy 6 properties and then become it. No, you can actually learn and train and understand it first and then grow into it. That's a brilliant thing.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in looking back and connecting the dots. You know, I think Steve Jobs says that you can't connect them looking forward.
No chance.
You know, so from that initial thought there in the October, I think come March, April, the next year when I'd done the course, I had a property business in place, you know.
Yeah.
So from that thought to having, like 6 months later, having a business actually set up and in place, you know.
I love it.
You know, so it was just, it was funny how it happened. You know?
Now there's two other things that popped up while you were chatting there. Number one, and you almost you let it drift away, because I think people do that if they even raise it. And it was, I never asked myself the question, what do I actually want from life?
Yeah, never.
Now that sounds so simple, doesn't it?
Does.
What do you want from life?
Yeah.
But the amount of people who don't actually stop because we're too busy and it's too frenetic, and we're chasing the money thing, or I need to get married thing, or I need to have kids thing, or whatever it is. You know, it doesn't matter what it is. But no, stop. What do you want? What do you actually want? No, I'm going to get this. I know you couldn't get that, but what do you actually want?
Yeah, 100% believe that. It's a shame it sometimes takes life-changing events to sort of wake you up to sort of ask those sort of questions, and you know, and sort of look at life a little bit different, which is what happened, you know. So yeah, it's
that's true, because you're talking about, you know, the cage, the wheel, and I can't see a way out, and then something you never planned or even hoped for, but the marriage itself having those problems, it was like a slap to think, whoa, no, you can't keep doing this.
Yeah.
You know,
that's exactly
and
what
then
happened.
You've asked yourself that question.
Exactly what happened. Yeah.
Okay. The other part I was picking out, and it's interesting hearing your whole story about a book, The Secret itself. Yeah. You're a perfect example of the do's and don'ts around that whole world, because there's a kind of negative part of that, and it is true for a reason. The negative connotations around those things, you know, the secret, the whatever, Think and Grow Rich, self-development, blah, blah, blah. The properly negative connotations around that is, it's not magic. You can't just sit down and hope for something, because that's daydreaming. That's all that is. But the people who do those books and movies and courses and everything else, they're not actually saying that. You know, people just pick it up the wrong way. What they're actually saying is, have the think about what you want, dream about it, plan for it, have your passion and emotion, but number two, you better bloody take some action. You need to do some work. And that's where you come in. You're, honest to God, James Doran, it's those two boxes for me. And I've used your name so many times. It's that someone who took control and says, no, I want something different. I actually want something different, and I don't quite know how I'm going to get there, but this is what I want. And number two, I'm going to bloody work to get there, to do it, whatever it needs. You've got to the two, haven't you?
Absolutely. So from that thought, having a business in place, so the next step was, right, what do I want? And I went out of offshore, you know, so that was the next.
That's the next step.
That was the next committed decision, get out of offshore, you know, and that's when the challenges started.
That's when the challenges, that's when it just got fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Because, I mean, I still can't wrap my head around how you physically managed to do it, because I faced that struggle of trying to balance my corporate life and trying to find the time to do stuff on the side, you know, find how to do it. But you're at a whole other level. You're not even on the same island. You know, you're out to sea for weeks at a time. I still don't know how you managed to juggle those lives.
Yeah, I mean, obviously once the business was set up, you know, it's set up for sourcing properties and for investors and myself, you know. So it was just about trying to get as much fitted in my leave as I could, so I had something to work with when I was away for 2 weeks, you know, which again had its challenges. You know, you've got the rubbish Wi-Fi and you know, you're working 12-hour days, you know, and then you've got 12 hours off, but you've got to sleep a bit of that, so you're trying to do a couple hours work, you're trying to work on your breaks, and you know, you're taking investor calls out there on the platform, which always made me laugh, you know, because you're taking investor calls, and I always laugh because they probably imagine you're sitting in some office somewhere with a shirt and tie on, you know. When in reality, you're standing in a phone booth on an oil rig, you know, with a bright orange jumps, like boiler suit on, a hard hat, you know, and
the wind and the rain belting
on. Just like, that's just how it was. Like,
I'm in my other office.
So that's how it was, you know. So it was challenging. It was challenging, you know, and especially with the marketing as well, you know. You guarantee you land offshore, and you get leads coming in, and you know, can you hang on a couple of weeks till I get home? And say, no,
to try and do a viewing or something.
No, it just doesn't work. I mean, I didn't have the network back then. What I've got now, you know, so it was just a struggle. You know,
so, it must have been, but you just kept hanging in there. You kept going for it. You know, is it fair to say that maybe your obstacle became one of your ways, one of your powers, because The obstacle is you've got this limited time zone. Right, I'm on shore. Right, I can do all of this to get set up, but the clock's ticking before I'm off again. You must have got more done in that time than someone who never had that clock ticking. Someone's, I'll get around to it. Yeah, I'll look at some properties. Yeah, I'll do some viewings. You know, it's almost kind of lackadaisical, whereas you're under pressure. You know, you've got a fire underneath you of a clock ticking down. I need to do all of these things before I get dragged offshore again.
Yeah, my weeks were pretty structured, like solid. You know, it was just viewings, networking events. You know, did a lot of networking, you know, and yeah, just a lot of due diligence at that point, you know, plus a lot of studies because I was quite new to it, you know, so all that was getting fitted in as well, you know, so yeah, it was pretty jam-packed on my leave, you know, as well as the kids as well, you know.
Well, exactly.
They were always booked in first.
Good,
so their time always comes first, and then everything else sort of gets booked in around there.
Then work around it.
Yeah, absolutely. I
love it.
That's the best way, I think.
I love it. Okay, so with the kind of the pre-property, we had that transitional phase, trying to just get going type thing. I mean, fast forward to just now, it's just crazy. I mean, so the areas you focus on, right? Location-wise, let's chat about that. And services-wise, what you do for other people and so on and so forth. What's the deal? What's your particular story in business?
Yeah, so the big focus on me at the moment is portfolio building for investors. You know, so I've got a big focus on Tyneside, so sort of Newcastle, Gateshead, North Shields, South Shields. You know, so
and you're enjoying the yields there. You're finding some good yields. That's the thing about England, isn't it? You know, the guy down in London, where you know he's got hundreds of thousands of pounds in the bank, but he can't buy anything. And then up in your area, North East, etc., you can find some real cherries for him.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say a minimum 8%.
Right.
You know, I've got one going through at the minute, it's 9%. We've had them up as 10%. You know, so it's it's a big difference, and that's the big draw.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the clients we have on and people getting in touch, they're from outside the region.
Yes,
you know,
exactly.
They are down south, they are in London, you know, those type of areas, and they all.
They probably can't even believe some of the numbers.
Well,
that
that's
you're
it, you
giving
know.
them.
That's it. So yeah, it's just it's keeping them informed and letting them know what's up here and what's possible, you know.
And is it true to say it's a double bonus for them, because as an investor, not only are you getting the higher yields, but it's actually taking less capital to get involved as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So they're getting two benefits, really, aren't they?
Definitely. I mean, you probably kind of buy a front door for the price of a 2-bed terrace in Gateshead, you know, down in London. But and that's a big draw as well, you know. So yeah, it's.
So in the area, I've seen some of your deals in the past, because you're always one of the guys in the group just constantly sharing stuff. Seen some in Gateshead you spoke about. There was another, is Middlesbrough near you as well? I might be getting my kind of English names and stuff mixed up, but I can remember quite a few. Yeah, is that true? Yep. And are you focusing on specific things for them? You know, is it, it's always 2-bed, 3-bed, it's always such and such, or are all your investors looking for different things?
Different things.
Is it?
You know, I mean, majority of people look for 2 to 3 bed houses. You
know, that family element.
Yeah, but there's still some great little properties there. The Tyneside flats, they just fly off the shelf.
Do they?
When we get them in, I mean, flats tend to put a lot of people off.
Yeah.
Straight away they think you've got service charges, you've got ground rent to pay, you know, but with the Tyneside flats, you don't get that.
Really?
No, I mean, they are leased.
Right.
But it's a quirky lease system where basically what it is, it's a terraced house with a 2-bed up or 3-bed upstairs flat and a 2-bed downstairs. So you've got 2 front doors at the front. And the upstairs landlord is the downstairs guy's landlord. Right. So the owner of the upstairs one is the downstairs guy's landlord, and vice versa. You know, so they pretty much cancel each other out.
Right.
But you still need a lease in place.
Right. So you've got to have
You've got to have the lease in place, and you can get them for like 999 years. You know, and
perfect.
so you're pretty much covered. You know, but they're good little renters. You know, and they're getting 8, 9, 10% yields. You know,
are they?
Depending on areas and. You know, but that's such a versatile little property as well. You know, I know people use them for serviced accommodation. You know, you can turn them into HMOs. You can rent out room by room. You can go into the loft, put a couple of bedrooms up there.
Oh, you can do that as well, can you?
And if you can get a pair of flats together, you know, you can put them back into a house or big HMOs. You know, I know people use them for that. So they're a popular one as well.
And that's one your team specialises in. You can handle all the legalities of because someone might be listening and getting put off thinking, oh wait a minute, I'm the landlord of this, but you can handle all that.
Yeah, well, I've had some buyers pull out because they don't understand it, or their solicitor doesn't understand it. Yeah, you know, because they're from out the area, and it's sort of getting that information out there that those properties they're good properties, you know. So it's not an issue having a lease on it, you know.
Excellent. Yeah. So if I'm, you know, down south, whatever, I've got the money, but I've not got the time, I've not got the experience, you can do that. You've got the area, you've got the market, and you've got everything else, expertise around that. I can get in at a much lower price than I can in my other areas down south in England. I'm getting a higher yield as well. What sort of cash flow and stuff can we expect?
If you're refinancing, which a lot of people are when they're building their portfolios, we tend to aim anywhere between £200 and £250 a month, you know, from these properties, you know. And if it's a £30,000, maybe a total of £30,000 to purchase the property, you know, that's all your acquisition costs as well, and your refurb maybe in as well, you know. It's
crazy, isn't it?
It's a good little.
There's like people listening in London just now, just careering off the road. He's like, what did he just say? That's impossible. But it's not. This is the market. This is the area.
This is how it is up there. Yeah.
Do you see the area changing in any ways? Because that's the thing, you've got boots on the ground there. I always love, you know, hearing someone from a different location. Oh, I'm in Aberdeen, I'm in Shropshire, or wherever. What's happening there? You know, what's going on?
In the northeast as a whole, there's a lot of green energy going on in the northeast. A lot of stuff happening there. Like some Middlesbrough and stuff. You've got the wind turbines. Yeah, a little bit north of Newcastle. You've got the Blythe area. You've got the Giga battery plant going on up there, and the wind farm stuff as well, you know. So there's a lot of green stuff going on up there.
And is that bringing in those employees then? They need the accommodation.
So there's going to be a lot of contractors coming into the area, you know. So yeah, we've got eyes on those sort of areas as well.
Perfect. Yeah. Full-time investor. That kind of tripped away, you know, just that wee an afterthought. But back then, offshore, James, you know, was oh my God, you know, that life, that pressure, that angst trying to get there. It was a dream at one point.
Yeah.
But that's what you are now. You are full-time in property. And I think did you tell me recently, one of the calls and stuff, that the anniversary was quite recent as well? A full 1 year, is that right?
Yeah,
is that right?
Full year. Just July just gone.
It was July.
That was a full year, full-time in property, full-time in the business, you know. I mean, I had the business obviously since 2018, but
but you were just building it and doing things careful and so on and so forth.
Just
I mean, that's one hell of a milestone.
Fate sort of played its role in that and sort of pushed us into it, you know. So yeah.
How does it feel?
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. I'm not missing offshore one little bit.
You're not. No regrets.
Just a relief. You know. It feels good. It does feel good. Yeah.
2020. Sorry, you're going to say something?
I was just going to say it was a long time coming.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Do you feel it?
Yeah. So,
you'd probably get Paul shouting at you because it took him longer. Yeah. But I think it's tremendous. It's fantastic because, listen, you know, not everyone needs to do it. You know, someone listening in can do it part-time if they want, or they can just be an investor. You know, they might not have to get into property at all. They can just work through someone like you to build them their portfolio. That's fine. Yeah. But if someone does want to do it, if that's their dream, their thing, that's for me, I want to be full-time, it can be done.
It can be done.
Really
You've just got to keep at it. You know, just keep it in your mind, I would say. You've got to. You know, and just keep little steps, daily steps, you know. You're not always going to take the right steps, or, you know, and just don't beat yourself up.
Yes.
I spent a lot of time doing that, beating myself up really hard on myself because I wasn't getting the results to start with, because of the challenges I was having, and it was taking a long time, and so it probably had a detrimental effect, to be honest with you, on my progress.
I would say, holding you back.
Yeah.
It's a funny thing, I don't know why we do it, because if we think of any other industry, you know, someone's, you know, Auntie Sally's starting up a wee cafe, or John's starting up a mechanics business, whatever, we expect it to be slow and steady. We expect it to take time because you're building something brand new.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, maybe people just pick up the wrong idea from, you know, Instagram memes and things like that. Oh, property, you start and you're off and running, you're a millionaire in 3 weeks' time.
Yeah.
It's just nonsense.
Yeah, it is. Took me a little while to realise that.
You need to teach yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it's a lot more, I think you're going to need a lot more longer term thinking.
Yeah.
You know, rather than short-term gratification, and you know, so that was a hard lesson to learn, to be honest with you.
Yeah. But you learned it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So it's
last year, pandemic, coronavirus. Oh my God.
Yeah.
How did you cope? How did you get on? How was the market for you?
So that would have been the beginning of 2020.
Yeah.
I mean, I was still offshore at the time, obviously. Just when coronavirus was starting to kick off, starting to come on the news. I mean, I don't really watch the news.
No.
But I was offshore at the time, and it was just starting, and all the guys out there were talking about it, and so the inkling was they're not going to let anyone offshore. You know, with this thing, if this thing gets any bigger, it's not going to happen. You know, it wouldn't be safe. So
yeah, of course.
So yeah, I remember thinking, well, if this thing gets any bigger, you know, and they're not going to let us offshore for a good while, is this going to be my jump off point? You know, and that's pretty much how it played out.
Wow.
Pretty much how it played out. You know, my last trip offshore, we got home, got put straight on furlough, put straight on my notice.
Is that right?
Yeah, so there's your job security right there.
Wow.
And yeah, I got put on my notice, 3 months notice. And yeah, I thought, I'm not coming back.
You could see it.
I thought, you know what, I'm going to go for this, screw it.
Right.
You know, and I spent the lockdown, I mean, lockdown, yeah, obviously it was shit for a lot of people, you know, we know that.
Sure.
But I sort of set my intentions at the start to use it, you know, because it was like that pause on life, you know, and it just what I needed personally. So I used it. Couldn't do anything property wise, so it was a case of just getting my mind in the right place to go full time. You know, I pretty much made that decision. You know, so yeah, it was yeah. So lockdown, yeah. I got a lot more time with the kids, you know. So yeah, I made the most of that. Connected with them very well.
Good.
So it was just good. Just to have that offshore. I knew it was done. You know, I just knew in my mind that was it. And yeah. So
life had given you another nudge along the way.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
It's funny how that happens, isn't it?
Pretty much. I mean, funny enough, obviously I got made redundant on the 22nd of July,
right.
And it wasn't until like 2 months later where I realised, oh shit, I've hit that goal. You know, I've hit that get out of offshore goal. You know, so I just sailed right past it, and yeah. So I thought, all right, well, there's another committed decision that's come to pass and come to fruition. You know, so sort of what's next. You know, so. Next committed decision needed, you know. Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Let me tap into your thoughts, feelings, experiences, etc. What's your opinions going forward? How do you see the market? Because we just spoke about a pandemic there, you know, and the market's been going crazy and prices have been going up. You can talk about your own region and stuff. How do you see it playing out? Where's the crystal ball time? What are you planning on here? Or do you not even care? You're just charging on with what you're doing and the market will take care of itself?
Yeah, I mean, you've got to charge on regardless. Yeah. There's so many different opinions on what's going to happen. I think I mean, the market's still high at the moment for sellers. Still a seller's market. I think the stamp duty coming to an end. Furlough's going to come to an end. You know, so that might see things start to tail off a little bit. I don't think it's not going to be overnight. Property prices, they don't drop off overnight. You know, it's going to be a gradual thing. But yeah, I think it's on the cards. It can't keep going up and up forever. You know, the bubble's got to pop at some point, I think.
But you're right. That kind of slow tail off. That's one of the reasons why we like property, isn't it? It's that, you know, adjustment process. It's not like a stock market crash one day. It's not like that, and that's something. Obviously, that's why investors, you know, trust the properties that you're finding for them. Because they're getting that you know, level of certainty almost.
Absolutely.
You know, over a longer term.
And a lot of the guys that I'm speaking to are coming on board. They're brand new to investing.
Right.
You know, and some of them are like, should we wait until the property prices drop out? You know, and I'm like, well, that could be a few years off, you know what I mean? So I think as long as you're buying right now, it's still a good time to start, you know. If you get started now, you're getting your track record built up, you know, and you'll have a few properties under your belt in a few years, and you can start adding more in, you know. But just as long as you're buying right in the first place, I think that's the most important thing, you know, regardless of what market is. You know, exactly. You follow the same system, you know, so.
Love it. So you're helping those people, serving them, you've got business services, you're finding them, you're expert in that area, etc., building portfolios. What's your own personal investments? Do you want to build a portfolio for yourself? Or you want to do any flips, etc.? What are you thinking?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've already got a couple in my own portfolio from previous, you know. And yeah, my portfolio, it's on the cards. Yeah, I'll be looking at that as well. But my focus has been on doing it for other people and sort of getting the sourcing business set up and ready before focusing on my own stuff, you know. So yeah, buy the flips, definitely on the cards. Commercial residential, we're looking at a couple of those at the moment.
Right, okay.
And we're also looking at a land deal as well at the moment. So yeah, I can't do that on my own, by the way. I'm putting a team together for that, hopefully. So,
brilliant.
Yeah, but that's something we've got eyes on at the moment, you know.
You're spreading out into other areas.
Yeah, absolutely. Just bigger things, you know, thinking a bit bigger and going from there, you know. So
I love it. Yeah. Now I want to chat to you about the kind of personal side of things, but the folks listening in, you probably, you know, your ears have pricked up thinking, oh, your beauty, finally I've got someone I can, you know, get in touch with and invest my money in. Reach out through the show notes page, connect with James and just see if he's got any spaces. Who knows, you know, it might be full up by the time you get in touch, but if he can help you, point you in the right direction, then, you know, make sure you get in touch to do that. But on that personal thing, yeah, oh my God, the man that I know now, you know, we laughingly call you the David Goggins in the group because fitness-wise, mindset-wise, health-wise, you're just relentless. Has that always been there? You've explained the mindset wasn't there before.
I've never been consistent with my fitness. It's always been on and off, be like a month or two at it and then a month off, and that's just the way it was, you know. Right. Sometimes you get back from your trip offshore and you just couldn't be bothered to do any exercise.
You just want to blow out, or you just want to relax.
So that's how it was, you know, for a long time. But yeah, the fitness, I think it pretty much started 2019.
Right.
Ellie Mackay set up the fitness accountability group on WhatsApp. You
know,
brilliant! It's still going strong, that one.
Is it?
Yeah, we're still at it. And yeah, it was just, I think it was the David Goggins book.
Right.
Can't hurt me. Once I got into that, you know, I've listened to that a good few times, and it was just the fitness bug just went from there, you know. So yeah, we're pretty much everyone's consistent in that group, you know. Daily check-ins, you know, you get your run-in, you get your video check-in, and just say we're doing this today, that today, you know. So it's good.
That big part of the puzzle for you, that peer group thing, networking thing, accountability thing, does that help?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, the accountability definitely keeps you motivated, keeps you going, you know, especially on those days when you can't be bothered.
Yeah,
you know,
so easy, isn't it?
Yeah, I get them all the time, you know. So.
And that's what Dave Goggins himself says.
Yeah.
I don't want to run. Yeah, I don't want to.
It's just pushing through. And sometimes they're the best runs you get, you know. Sometimes they're the best workouts, you know, the ones you can't be bothered to do, you know. So yeah, so yeah, the accountability does help with that, I would say.
Love it. And the physical part, you're feeling the benefits up here as well?
Yeah, definitely. The mindset thing's probably been the biggest thing I've worked on the past few years.
Right.
Purely because I didn't have it. Right. I didn't have the right one to start with when I got started back in 2018. In fact, it was the biggest challenge I came up against early on, and that was myself. Right. You know, just not the right level of think. You know, not the right self-talk. You know, and not the right belief system in place. You know, so there was none of that. There was none of it. You know, so I've really had to work hard on all that. You know, and I'm still working hard on it.
Of course,
I don't think it ever stops. I don't think it ever stops. But yeah, that's been a major focus for me. Yeah, the past few years, the mindset side of things. You know,
love it. And the kids, better for you, stronger, more engaged. Are you feeling the benefits you hoped you would get?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I see a big difference in myself now. You know, especially being home more. You know, I'm on hand more. You know, I'm seeing a lot more of them. You know, and just structuring things around them, you know, it's much better, you know. So it's just life's a lot better, I would say, on the back of that.
That part is priceless, isn't it?
Absolutely, that's what it's all about.
That's what you can really see the money doesn't matter.
No, definitely. Was it worth it offshore?
Aye, that's actually a brilliant question. Now that you review it,
I do think about it.
You want to join the dots, which is fine. You've spoke about that. How do you view it?
It's played its part. You know, I'm pleased it's happened. It's happened, you know. But yeah, I missed a lot of time with the girls, you know. So yeah. I wish I knew now what I knew back then. I wish I knew back then what I know now.
It's so true.
So yes, and that's a big part of my purpose at the minute. It's sort of getting myself to a certain level of success and learn as much as I can, so I can pass that knowledge on to them. And then and not just the girls, but anyone else coming up, you know, so they can sort of use it, hopefully. To sort of make better choices for themselves, you know, and get after the life that they want, you know, because it's possible, you know. I think as long as you see it in your mind, and, you know, you keep it in there, you can get there, you know. Yeah.
Now there's the way I want to wrap up with you, because that's funny you've said that. You can see it in your mind, because you explained something before we started filming. When you talk about these things like The Secret and so on, there's the idea of a vision board. Can you tell it what's happened recently? Because you're doing work in your own place, is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I'm getting the carpets done this week. So I'm literally pulling the room to pieces, like emptying out, ready for the guys to come in and fit those. I found an old vision board, shoved under the bed from like a couple of years back. and there's a little scrap of paper on it. It was 2019 goals. Number 1, full-time in property.
Yeah.
Number 2, platinum protege. And number 3, This Week in Property.
This Week in Property.
You know, so when I found it yesterday, and I was like, wow, unbelievable.
Bonkers.
You know, so yeah, there must be a couple of year delay on them, Richard. You know,
it was a corona lag.
Yeah,
I suppose there's a lag
so
time.
I need to figure out how to shorten that time down a little bit. And, you know, so, but yeah,
I think that's tremendous.
True story. Yeah.
You know, I mean, and I love the fact one of them's us here today, which is brilliant. You know, we're in the studio together, so that's great. As one of those boxes ticked. But the biggest one there is, which impacts your whole life, is that one you put about being full-time with property. And you did that, so you visualised it, you wanted it, you asked yourself, what do I want? You visualised it, you put it together, you made it a plan, but then you got after it, then you put the work in, then you took all the learning and everything you would need and the information you would need to get there, and then you took those steps.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's it. Like I say, keep it in your mind and just one foot in front of the other.
Yeah.
You know, just do what needs to be done, you know.
Through the hard times.
Yeah,
through
absolutely.
the good times.
And there's definitely hard times.
Yeah.
You know, if I tell you them,
no
plenty
about
knockbacks, you know, plenty setbacks. You know, I embrace them these days. I think you've got to. You know, just there's always learnings in them. You know, that's where the growth is. You know, you know you're doing something if you're going through these challenges. You know, so yeah, that's the way I look at it these days. Yeah,
tremendous,
absolutely.
my man. So proud of you, absolutely so proud of you. I take so much encouragement from you as well. In fact, give a wee wave to your girls down the camera, because there's Dad. He's done it. He's on telly. He's a master, and it's a brilliant story, and it's a real life example of what you can do. And it doesn't have to be property. You know, someone listening in, follow your own dream, whatever it is. But you might feel the same as James. You might feel stuck. You might feel you've chased the money for too long, and you're kind of trapped, and you don't know. Take that point to sit back and ask yourself, what do you want? You know, take that angle of where do I want to go? What does it look like visually? You know, what does it feel like?
You've got to stop. I stop a lot these days and think, quiet the mind, and just ask yourself the questions. You know, it's something I never did before, and it's something I do quite regular now.
Love it.
You know, and I just see what comes through. You know, yeah.
Tremendous. What a guy. There you go, folks. I told you were in for a treat. Make sure you go into the show notes, make sure you hook in with them, and if you're lucky enough to work with this man, then congratulations, well done. But James, for your time today, for sharing your story and helping other people, thanks a million.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, bud.
Pleasure.
Well, I hope you enjoyed today's show as much as I did. Remember, with the guests that you just saw, go into the show notes for the page, because all of their links are there so that you can get in touch and to get more information. And talking about getting more information, more guests, more insights, more knowledge, etc., make sure you're subscribed. Get the subscription done, get the notifications on, and then we'll always keep in touch with you every single time a brand new show is going to come out. So thanks for tuning to This Week in Property.